Hello people of YouTube, Instagram, and any other video viewing platform in between. My name is Arvanh, and today we'll be talking about graduating from a top public university and not liking your major. So before we begin, I've listed out the different timestamps right over here with the corresponding topics that I'll be speaking on during this video. So if you have any particular interest, feel free to go ahead and skip through it. Or if you want to stick along for the ride and listen to what I have to say, let's go ahead and get started. Number uno. So a little bit about me and how I selected my major. So my name is Arvanh. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas.
It's time, hold it down.
I went to Jersey Village High School. Ooh, wrong sign. Went to Jersey Village High School, and I would say at the time and during my high school, I had an affinity for math and science. History didn't really stick with me because I'm just bad at remembering things in general. And also the medical field didn't really tickle my pickle just because diagnosing someone with a terminal illness doesn't really spark joy in my life. So that was not for me. So I started weighing pros and cons of math, science, things I could do, and I bumped into engineering. I applied to 3 different schools, universities across Texas, and I got into all 3, got accepted to mechanical engineering, and I decided to go to the University of Texas at Austin. So now that we are in school, I'm going to talk about my experience, my specifically academic experience through mechanical engineering as an undergrad. So during my freshman year, I would say my undergrad was pretty easy. Some people will tell you like, hey, there's a big learning curve in between high school and college. I think it's dependent on what university you attend and what major you get into, so it will be different for everybody. During my freshman year, I would say it was a lot of intro classes and prerequisites into getting my major. So at the time, I was taking only 1 engineering class during my freshman year. It was easy breezy, 4.0 my first semester. My second semester, I was like, yo, this ain't too bad, so let's go ahead and pile on some responsibilities. I picked up a bunch of leadership positions, got more involved in my extracurricular activities, and my second semester, I ended up with straight B's, which was not that 4.0 that I had coming in. So fall semester of my sophomore year, we ended up taking classes. It required that I really had to understand the material in order to solve the problems. But at this time, I had taken up a bunch of leadership positions, became more involved in dancing, was more involved in extracurricular activities, and also started working as well. So I had a lot on my plate, and I didn't allocate enough time to properly learn the materials. So I ended up with a C in thermodynamics, which wasn't so hot, but I would say at that point, I was like, dude, you need to get slightly more serious with your classes, and let's cut it back for spring semester. So that's what I exactly did. I cut out some extracurricular activities. I was still working, still part of some extracurricular activities, but I would say this semester was a huge turning point for me to make me realize like, hey, I don't think engineering was for me. And if you can relate, if you're going through something in your life and you're sticking to it and you're just like, I'm gonna do this, but there are a lot of signs showing up that you're just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It's kind of hard on yourself because you have to admit and ask yourself, is this really for me? So I got to the point within my sophomore year where I was like, I don't know if mechanical engineering is for me. Just because one, my time was spread so thin that my time was still spread so thin that I didn't have time to learn everything. And 2, I didn't really fucking care about these classes, okay? So like, I was trying to care about something that some people cared for, and I just couldn't, I found that learning these technical concepts were cool, and they can be applicable, but it's not something that I could see myself in the long run. So that was something I had to come to terms with, like, hey, I'm doing this, but I don't really like it. And it took a lot for me to get there because what am I going to do after? So I promised myself that I would never make myself feel that way again, where if I start feeling like shit, I'm going to get the fuck out or find a different perspective about it. But ultimately, I was like, yo, let's just get this degree and graduate with it. Because you know what? You're already halfway through. What else are you going to do? So junior year rolls in, and I would say, was it easy breezy? I don't know. I kind of like blacked out that portion of my life. I would say I was able to get my grades back up just because, one, I've adapted to the studying style of engineering classes, learning how to solve problems more effectively versus like spending a lot of time studying not effectively. So senior year rolls around, and at this point I have a hang of my classes. I know how to study. My classes become more project and group oriented, so that became slightly more easier and manageable for me. I was interning at the time, and my focus was more on, hey, let's hang out with the people you care about and also recruit for full time. So around fall semester of my senior year, I was focused on just hanging out with my friends, going out maybe 3 to 4 times a week, and recruiting as well for full time. By my spring semester, I would say that was probably the most fun I've had in all of college, just because I had knocked out a bulk of my engineering classes. So it was like pretty chill. I was on a senior project and that was time consuming. But overall, I would say my senior year was probably one of the best years for me, just because I got to hang out with my friends, do the things that I wanted to do. Classes weren't as difficult because my perspective had changed on them. And yeah, things just started improving from there. So that was a majority of my academic experience through my undergraduate career. I think the most important thing that I really liked about it was it indirectly gave me a lot of my close friends. I would say just being in an environment where you are taking class with people, not necessarily seeing them every day, but facing problems that really bring you together. You get to know one another, and I would say that's how I made a lot of my good and close friends. So I appreciate that experience where I could meet people, and that was pretty good for me. So what I didn't like about engineering, I would say I didn't like it just because I was more interested in how this product impacts people's lives and how they use it. And I would say engineering, from how I perceived it, is how can you get this product to work, and you have to understand the ins and outs of its components, which is something that didn't tickle my pickle, right? And in general, because I wasn't interested in it, I didn't enjoy learning it, and I was able to learn it because, one, your boy got student loans and I got paid that ish off, and two, what else was I gonna do, right? I didn't really have any other career interests at that point in my life. Now it's a different story. Here we are, and I would say those are a few of the reasons why I didn't like engineering. So if you made it this far into the video, I think this is the most important topic. Just how I kind of feel about everything in general, my takeaway points, what I've learned through my experience. So if you're going through it, about to go through it, if you somehow made it this far and stumbled onto the section, I hope it benefits you, because we about to get kind of deep and you're about to learn a little bit about yourself and a little bit about me too. I'm going to talk to the people who are still figuring their stuff out. You don't really know what you want to do yet. And I'm telling you, it is okay that you do not know what you want to do. Yes, it seems like there are people within their major or within the major you're in where it seems like they are having it all. Like, you know, they're a tier 1 student, they're making straight A's, they are really funneling through life. But you have to understand that that person is not you, right? They have different experiences. Yes, they could be doing well in school, but what makes you you is something that they don't have, right? And honestly, that major might be for them, like, to some degree, where it's just like, hey, I want to become an engineer, and they actually have that mindset. So you have to ask yourself, is this something you really want to do? And if you're struggling, is it because of yourself? Are you going through some things in your life, right? So I think what's important here is that we have to sit back, don't compare yourself to others, and honestly be honest with yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for me that really helped me through engineering. Once I pushed out the external noise, kind of listened to what I wanted, literally talked to myself out loud. I was just like, hey, Arvanh, you're not happy right now with where you're at. Why aren't you happy? Why are you comparing yourself to others? Is this something that you really want? Once you start asking yourself these really deep, insightful questions, you start having a better understanding of what you want to do. And you might not know what exactly it is, but if you have a direction and maybe you still want to use your degree somehow, I think you can do it, right? It just takes a matter of time and figuring things out. So again, for the people who are still figuring things out, take your time, stop making excuses, take responsibilities, but also you're gonna be fine. Just go ahead and think it through, and things are gonna be okay. Now, if you're someone who's contemplating that, I don't think college is for me, I might be agreeing with you because I don't think college is for everyone either. So if you're struggling and you're just like, damn, I really don't want to go to college because you have a plan or because you have different interests that you don't think academia can help you cover, I feel like there's always different ways to go about growth in your life, right? For me, college was a very good experience to meet people, see what's out there, and as well as learn something that's already been institutionalized, structured very well, etc. But if your interest lies beyond academia, beyond university life, right, then if you think you have a way to make something work, I would say try it out, right? You're not gonna succeed right away. There's gonna be a bunch of failures, but if you have resilience and you have direction, I think you can make it. If you don't think college is a fit for you, it might not be, and that's okay. I think society puts a pressure onto people to really go through university life and become someone, but you do not necessarily need to do that. Just a heads up. And lastly, so the title of this video is I graduated from a top public university and hated my major. And that's because, long story short, it didn't align with my why, as in why do I do the things that I do in life, which is okay because now we are figuring things out together and I have a better idea of what I want to do, which I journaled down. I'm gonna read to you guys a little bit of who do I aspire to become, which has kind of helped me figure out who I want to become. And although university life didn't cater to all those needs, I'm setting off on, I would say, a puberty 2.0 and self-discovery of who I really am to myself. And I think that's okay. So here we go. Who do I aspire to become? I want to become someone that only I can become. I want to learn from different areas of my interest, take that knowledge and create something that only I can. With what I create, I want to empower people, and I want to help them grow, find their inner happiness, and indirectly influence their lives. So that's what I wrote in my journal. I hope you guys learned something from this video, took something away. I made this video for 3 reasons. 1, to give advice to people who are currently going through it. 2, a reminder to myself to, follow my dreams. And 3, in the famous words of Ali Wong,
I don't want to work anymore.
So there you have it. Yeah, I hope you find this video useful. Sorry it was kind of long. Thanks.